before we do so, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at FXStreet. We're bringing you constant video content about technical analysis in the crypto space. We try to update you with absolutely everything that's going on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Lee Martinez at Ali_charts. You can also follow Akash at Maginco with a 0 at the end. And you can follow Jonathan at Just Analysis 1. So now let's move to Shiba Inu. I mean, for Shiba Inu, from an on-chain perspective, what I'm seeing is that it's currently testing a significant support level. But if Shiba Inu were to break below that 0.0006 level, I think it will find itself, on a weak note, and it could potentially dive way lower. When we look at the on-chain metrics, for example, it basically tells us that the next critical area of support below 0.006 basically sits around 0.003, or let's call it 3. Which is kind of like a 50% downswing if Shiba Inu were to break below that 6 level. Now, on the upside, what is needed for Shiba Inu to actually break out is a decisive close about that 9 level that we have been talking about for over the past few weeks, which could potentially lead to a breakout towards 15. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, the most critical areas of support and resistance that you could be looking at is basically that 6 level and that 9 level. Decisive daily candlestick close outside of this price range will basically determine what Shiba Inu is heading to, right? So on the upside, we have that 15 target, but on the downside, we have that 3 target. Now, further on-chain metrics tell us that yeah, I mean, those addresses that bought Shiba Inu within the past 30 days are currently sitting at a loss of basically 8%. So what that tells you is that Shiba Inu is currently sitting in the opportunity zone, right? So every time kind of like the average profits of those people that have bought Shiba Inu falls below 0%, it's actually a good sign for bullish price action, because these addresses will not be inclined to sell at a loss. So basically, it reduces the selling pressure behind this asset. The same type of information can go for those addresses that bought Shiba Inu within the past year. And they're currently sitting at a loss of 60%. So this could be interpreted as a good opportunity actually the Shiba Inu is trading in the opportunity zone, which usually presents a good opportunity to profit in the future, right? So these two on-chain metrics are telling you that, hey, time to buy Shiba Inu could be coming soon. But something very important to notice is that basically we saw a significant spike in the number of Shiba Inu tokens sitting on exchanges, which is not necessarily bullish, right? I mean, with this significant spike on the supply on exchanges, what it tells you is that maybe some whales or some large investors are basically preparing to sell some of their tokens, right? So just be aware that as long as this supply on exchanges continues rising, then the outlook will kind of like lean way more bearish, right? Other metrics that I'm looking at is basically network growth, which kind of like tells you whether new addresses are being created on a daily basis. We saw that significant spike with the Coinbase listing, but since then, basically this red line, as you guys can see here, basically went down, and it has fell to basically print a higher high, right? As long as this network growth continues going down, I'll be leaning to the bearish side as well, but understanding that 6 level right there marks a significant area of support, and only a daily candlestick close below it could lead to a downswing towards the 3 level. So yeah, that's basically my take on Shiba Inu. I mean, from an on-chain perspective, with the significant increase in supply on exchanges and the network growth failing to make an all-time high, I mean a higher high, I'm leaning bearish on Shiba Inu, but I understand that basically that 6 level right there could potentially contain the selling pressure, and only a daily candlestick close below it could lead to a further downswing toward 3. But on the upside, of course, I will be waiting for a daily and a decisive candlestick close above 9 so that I could target 15. But yeah, that's basically my take on Shiba Inu from an on-chain perspective. I don't know if you, Jonathan, are looking at something different from a technical perspective.
Sure. Let me get my screen up there. So, funny thing about this instrument is that the professional software I use, it doesn't decimalize enough to to show all the sats that are actually necessary. So I have to use TradingView. It's just kind of one of those weird things how tiny these fractional moves are. It's really sitting on kind of a make or break level right now. There's if you look at it on the hourly, I mean, you could probably see a little bit better, but there's a definite descending triangle pattern on there right at the very edge of this. It's approaching the apex of that triangle. Ichimoku wise, it's in very uber bearish conditions. I mean, if we're going to project, where a likely zone would be using a FIB expansion, not using the wicks, but just the bodies. I mean, 581 down there, which actually makes pretty good sense, but lines up exactly with this really, really thick high volume node. And here's the other thing. When you look at the volume profile on the right, you just hide the Ichimoku for a second. If I zoom out, or if I zoom back in, maybe, there we go. There's a pretty thin profile below 681, and which tells us that there could be a pretty swift move down to that 581 level. I'll be the first to admit that I have no idea what the fundamentals are on this thing, but it has one of the most ugly looking charts that I have ever seen, and I don't even know I mean, there's almost no direction on this thing, and it's hard to decide which direction it's going. I mean, just going with the aggregate move of the market in a bearish move, I don't see any reason why this guy would outperform anything. It's also not in a position where it can't turn bullish very easily. It's just really, really constricted, but I see it more lower than higher from here.
Yes, so basically, I mean, it seems like the last line of support that you're seeing right here is kind of like that 595 level, right? I mean, what is it? 58?
Yeah, 581 from where we're at now at 697. I see it coming down to 581, but then below that, there's just a wide open space of nothing. Yeah, and price will always move in the direction of the least amount of resistance. And so if it moves below 690 or so, it's much easier to move lower than it is higher. And then if it gets below 581, I mean, it's in price discovery mode. It's the inverse of what you saw with Solana over the last, few weeks or month. It's just, it will keep moving until people come in to support it. And I mean, I don't want to be the guy trying to figure out where that bottom is, to be honest. I just would like to wait for everybody else to do that for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it breaks that level, which has been acting as support for a little while, I think that yeah, I mean, the possibilities for further, losses are just incredible. Especially what this tells you with Shiba Inu is that yeah, I mean, the market is still based on a lot of hype and FOMO, right? And we did see a significant price increase at the beginning of the year for this cryptocurrency, but since then, all the interest has been basically weighing down, and those who wanted to profit have already profited, and now the holders of last resource, right, are just wanting for this coin to continue going up so they can exit, at break even, or potentially, with some profits. But it does seem that that's not going to happen. But yeah, maybe you, Akash, are leaning a little bit more bullish on Shiba Inu from a lower time perspective, or what's your TA tells you?
I am kind of bullish on, not bullish, I'm optimistic, like cautiously optimistic on Shiba right now. That's because I think that there's a possibility that it's going to form a double bottom here, at least make a run at this resistance level here at 768. And if we're being a little optimistic, more than cautiously optimistic, then probably 835, right? But if we kind of fail to form a double bottom here, and there's another chance for the buyers to do this again here between these two support levels here, which is 625 and 654. As you can see, like these two levels have been consistent over the past probably, yeah, roughly 110 days. So yeah, I think there is a possibility that it could bottom out here and then go higher, or come down here and then go higher. But that completely depends on what the market, the overall structure of the market is, right? Uh, from a short, medium term time frame, we're all expecting Bitcoin to drop to 35, 38, 36K. If that happens, then this bullish thesis goes into the bin. But if it doesn't, then I'm expecting this scenario, right? If the bearish scenario happens with Bitcoin and the market starts to tank, in that case, I'm expecting these two levels to break, and then we're going to retest the 589 level here, or the range low here, which is at 550, right? This is like my short-term bearish outlook, and as you can see, she was kind of never really closed below, or closed, yeah, closed below this range low here. And I think if Bitcoin has down to 35, 36K, then that is a possibility. If we do kind of lose this, or if you see like a massive wicks like this, these two over here, then you can expect Shiba to wick down to the April. There's no price data here, but it's April 21, 2020 swing high, which is around the $420 dollar level here. That's my like bearish target, extremely bearish target. Normally, like
Okay.
minimal bearish target is 550, which is the range low.
Okay, but it does seem that you're leaning a little bit bullish on Shiba Inu, and
Yeah.
you could potentially, per se, you could enter a long position at around the current price levels to basically target 83.5. Is that right?
Yeah, but I want to see a swing high, swing low form here, and then wait for the confirmation for the fourth candlestick to close above the third candlestick, and then maybe enter along there if that happens.
Yeah, I gotta say that, yeah, over the past 4 months, I mean, this type of parallel price action, has probably, led to significant gains for some people and definitely significant losses for other people, right? Because basically, I mean, we have been talking about this for so long, but yeah, I mean, a break of that 90 level in there could lead to a significant upswing towards 15 or even 12 or 13, right? But that hasn't happened yet. And now it's a matter of which level is actually going to break, right? Is it going to be the 90 level or that 60 level, or I mean, you could call it 58.9 or 55, whatever, it's basically the same. Basically, those two price points for any long-term Shiba Inu holder, that's what you're looking at. I mean, if you get a daily candlestick close below that, then you know sell everything. But if you get a daily candlestick close above 90, then hold it for a little bit longer because you're potentially gonna get a 15 Shiba Inu. But yeah, that's basically our take on Shiba Inu. I mean, Jonathan and myself were both leaning more bearish than bullish, while Akash sees the potential of a rebound with the potential development of a double bottom pattern right there on the daily chart to actually target something around 83.5. So now it's just depending on what you see and what you think is the best choice to make here. But I would say just wait a little bit, and because the whole market is looking very bearish, and with Bitcoin potentially going down to $15,000, I mean to $15,000 to $35,000. I mean the rest of the market could crash as well. So So yeah, I mean, other than that, just subscribe to our YouTube.